with class, fantastic demeanor, and a wine glass filled to the brim. What you're going to hear is the finest in urban conservative talk. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the brand new Willie Lawson Show here on the Exceptional Conservative Network. Innovation, inspiration, and imagination. Three important characteristics that are important in any business, but especially in real estate when you're looking for your forever home. And when that home is a new home, there are very, very many things that must go right. The financing must be on point. The furnishings must be on point. The location and neighborhood must be on point. And if you need someone to get that right the first time, you have to go to my friend Gary Knight at New Homes of Tampa Bay. That's New Homes of Tampa Bay. You can reach him on the web at www.newhomestpa.com. If you're looking for innovation through technology, inspiration and imagination through hard work, www.newhomestpa.com. There's no reason to wait for a special occasion to send flowers. No reason to wait until you miss a birthday or an anniversary or Valentine's Day to send flowers. All you have to do is get a hold of my friend Christine at Bloomingdale's Flower Shop, www.bloomingdays.com. That's www.bloomingdays.com. And tell her that you want to send the very best, that you care enough to send the very best. One of FTD's top florists in all of the United States, always in the top 100 of flower shops in the United States. That's Bloomingdale's Flower Shop, www.bloomingdays.com. Forget calling 1-800-something, www.bloomingdays.com. It's great to have partners, but it's even better when one of your partners is one of the finest urban conservatives in America. That's my friend Kevin Batts. Kevin Batts of Red River Chronicle TV. Red River Chronicle TV is taking the internet by storm. With fabulous production, amazing commentary, and incredible insight, Red River TV is the thing that we'll all be watching in 2017. They are the people, Kevin and his wife Janelle, are the voices that are going to make the difference in urban America in 2017. So get in on the ground floor. Go to www.redriverchronicle.com and subscribe to Red River TV today. All right. Well, welcome to the Will Lawson Show here on the Exceptional Conservative Network. We apologize for the screw up technically at the beginning of the show. That's kind of the thing, you know. What we don't have a lot of people working on the show. We don't have a lot of people who are supposed to be in the country who are working on the technical part of the show. We have a lot of people who are now, with only a day to go before Mr. Trump's inauguration, are sort of looking over their shoulders and a little preoccupied with maybe having to go back to their home country. So we don't have a lot of people who are really paying attention. So we have a little trouble sometimes, but we're going to work that out. We are going to work that out. We are in discussions with the Trump transition team on making sure that we have maybe some exemptions for some folks who are working on the show to make sure that they can keep their mind on their jobs. All right, listen, today is going to be, I think, an interesting discussion because what we have to talk about is cultural introspection. And a lot of us don't know what that is because we just sort of accept things as they are laid out by mainstream media and pop culture. We just sort of accept how things are laid out. Certain people are allowed or expected to act a certain way or behave a certain way, vote a certain way, talk a certain way, wear their clothes a certain way. And that's supposed to be accepted because we are in the age of acceptance. We are in the age that we are to accept whatever people are doing, no matter how insane, inane, and ridiculous, as their culture, and that's okay. No matter what that is. It is indeed the mainstream media's narrative into anesthetizing us from thought. And as long as they can anesthetize us from thought, then they can replace those thoughts that we would normally be having on our own and those questions that we would normally be having on our own with whatever nonsense they want to put in place, because nature abhors a vacuum. If you're not thinking, if you're not coming up with your own thoughts, if it's not happening from the inside, whenever it's coming from the outside is being put in its place. There is no neutral. There is no neutral in thought or intellect. There is moving forward or moving backwards. That's all there is. And I think that a lot of times we don't really realize that we're being influenced in ways that we didn't really believe that we were being influenced. And mainstream media and pop culture does just that. And if we're not thinking about what we're doing, especially in the urban corridor, if we're not really thinking about what we're doing and how we're doing it, why we're doing it, and while we're accepting it, and while we're promoting it, then we're likely to do anything and likely to make large mistakes and likely to spend a lot of time off in the weeds in the wrong direction, not really finding what we should find and being who we should be. So it's really terribly frustrating sometimes to see what's accepted as culture and see what's accepted as okay and see what's accepted as, well, that's just how young people are now and this is how people are now and no one and basically anybody who says anything against it or even questions it is attacked. You know, it's just amazing the number of people, and we mentioned this yesterday on the show. If you listened, it's just amazing the number of people who get attacked for something as, I think, benign as suggesting that people pull their pants up. You know, something that's as benign, and that's as benign as it gets. Or even saying, I don't know why they wear their pants like that. I don't understand that. How someone will get attacked by just suggesting that someone should wear their pants up on their waist and do something as culturally inappropriate as possibly even wearing a belt. It's crazy how some people will attack someone like that. How's that? How's that even possible? How are you mad at me? How are you mad at me? Because I suggest that a young man wear a belt or a young man pull his pants up so his underwear isn't showing. How can someone be deemed as culturally insensitive by asking someone to do just that? It doesn't make any sense. Oh, okay. Listen, because we had the problem early, we're going to let our sponsors and our network people down the line know that we're going to blow through the 9:15 break and go right to the 9:18 break, we'll take that break later. Thanks so much for all our affiliates down the line. Because of the technical problem, we're going to blow right through the 9:15 break, and we did. So in any case, it just seems crazy that somehow that we can, that our culture will hold people responsible as culturally insensitive for even asking the question, how come they won't pull their pants up? Why is that okay? Well, you're being culturally insensitive, racist, bigot. Really? Doesn't make any sense, does it? Because we are unwilling anymore to examine our own culture. And today, you guys know that I'm not unwilling to examine our culture. As a matter of fact, I am looking forward, and I have been looking forward to this discussion all day, to examine what we do. Because in order to be successful in anything, you have to examine what you do. Businesses that are successful and want to remain successful just don't say, hey, we got lucky and we're successful and let's not look at what we're doing. Don't change anything. Don't look at it. If you look at it, it'll fall apart. That don't look a gift horse in the mouth thing. It's crazy, because if you look a gift horse in the mouth, what you'll find out is that all their teeth are rotten. That's what you'll find out. So it is extremely, extremely important that we take a look, a very important, painful, introspective look into our culture and what we're promoting and what we're allowing in order to be successful later or to continue our success. That's what's important. All right, affiliates, we're going to take a break right now, and we'll be back in 3 minutes. Information is crucial when you're looking to purchase a new home. With so many choices of communities and options, choosing the right one for you and your family can be a daunting task. That's why you need to go to New Homes of Tampa Bay right now, www.newhomestpa.com, and get the information you need. Learn how people save thousands of dollars when purchasing new homes. Buy like the pros. New Homes Tampa Bay, www.newhomestpa.com. Listen, this show would not be possible if it weren't for our affiliate partners. If it wasn't for people like Gary Knight at New Homes Tampa Bay. If it weren't like Kevin Batts at theredriverchronicle.com. So it is getting near the end of the month, so let's talk about the Red River Chronicle. The Red River Chronicle is a website that is full of fantastic conservative articles, conservative educational tools. I think that's the coolest thing. Spent 15 years in teaching in the public school system, and you know what? These educational tools are something that you can use yourself, that you can use in a classroom setting, that you can direct students to, sort of on the sly. Because it's, frankly, I think the battle is just like that. If you're working in the public school system, and you're in a social studies classroom, I use social studies because it's the easiest transition. And a student comes to you and says, "Where do I learn more about conservatives?" Well, the very first place you should send them is not townhall.com, is not the Rush Limbaugh site, or even the Willie Lawson show necessarily. You need to send them right to the redriverchronicle.com. Articles written in a scholarly way, primarily information about Oklahoma and Texas, but from a very conservative standpoint. And you know what? Kevin Batts is black, so that helps your students because that throws away and destroys the left's picture of who's supposed to be conservative. So you can also, on that site, that student will have access to Hillsdale College lectures, which I think are invaluable. Absolutely invaluable. And there's also an app that they can purchase. I did. It's all of 99 cents. I purchased it. It keeps you up to date with what's going on the redriverchronicle.com website. That's the redriverchronicle.com website. The finest in conservative information and education. All right, we are back. We're having some microphone problems, and I apologize. Anyway, it is our purpose today to practice some cultural introspection. Oh, and to our affiliates, we're going to go. The next break will be at 9:40. We'll be at 40 after the hour for our affiliates down the line. At SHR Media, TECN, and our friends at High Plains Talk Radio. Our next break will be at 40 after. Yes, to produce one's own show and be the host. Yes, sure. Dun, 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 dun. Anyway, we're going to talk about I got 6 points that we're going to try to get to this morning. Talking about introspection, cultural introspection, of course, in urban America. The first one, of course, is education. You know what? There's a lot of talk about education by the left, especially when it comes to school choice. Remember school choice. I'm going to bring that up later. School choice allows everybody, the soccer mom and the welfare mom, to decide where their youngsters go to school. Right now, a lot of people, a lot of children in urban America are trapped like prisoners, like rats in a trap, in schools and school districts that are awful, that are failing, that are not just failing academically, they're failing our children. They're failing whole communities. They're stealing the money, frankly. They do so little that they're actually, there should be lawsuits of malfeasance. They're stealing the money. And because of deals that school districts have made with unions, our children, black children, brown children, children of color, are trapped there. Because the unions are so against school choice. They're against school vouchers. Why? Because if somebody finds out, because if the word gets out that those kids can learn, and it doesn't matter where they live, it doesn't matter if they're coming out of a project area, it doesn't matter if they're coming out of public housing, it doesn't matter if they're poor. If the word gets out that those kids can learn too, and they haven't for all these years, then guess what? Those people are through. So they want to keep the narrative alive, the narrative of dependency alive in those communities so they can protect their wealth. And what we do in our community is that we buy into it. We buy into it. It is one of our cultural norms to think that being smart somehow, and I'm not sure when this happened. I think it happened during integration. But being smart as an African American, as a black kid, became a bad thing. It became a bad thing because nobody wanted to be Urkel, right? Nobody wanted to be Urkel from Family Matters. Everybody wanted to be his brother Eddie, right? Tall, athletic, none too bright, good looking, always in nice clothes, always had the girlfriend. But to be Urkel was just too much, right? Forget that Urkel was smart. Forget that Urkel became a freaking astronaut on the show. Forget that, right? He was goofy and couldn't dance, like Cheese, and play the accordion. Yes, we used to watch that show. Yeah, but nobody wanted to, because that was being smart. Being smart was being a nerd, right? A geek, a nerd. By the way, a nerd is a piece of candy, and a geek is a carnival performer that bites the heads off of live chickens and snakes. That's what a geek is. So don't call me a computer geek. Don't call me a band nerd. Don't call me those names. I won't accept them. Thank you so much. But you know what? So that's the deal, though. And nobody wants to be a geek and nobody wants to be a nerd. So in that, it stopped being cool to be smart. And a lot of people decided that it was easier to keep your mouth shut and pretend not to be smart and not succeed, other than take that butt whipping for getting an A, for being a teacher's pet, for trying to act white. But that is a recurring theme in the cultural narrative of mediocrity. The cultural narrative of mediocrity. Try anything that pushes the envelope forward, anything that pushes the individual forward, any sort of free thinking is characterized as trying to act white. Yeah, stop it. Stop it. Now this conversation, I'd like to be able to have this conversation with just black people at the Roscoe's Chicken and Waffles, but there's not a Roscoe Chicken and Waffles big enough in America to have this meeting. So we're going to have it here in public. We're going to have this meeting in public. And if you are interested in continuing the discussion, you can send me an email at wlstecn@gmail.com. I promise I'll answer it. Or you can hit me up on Twitter at WLSTECN on Twitter. And I'll promise I will have discussion with you. No worries. Point number 2, consumerism. Part of our culture that I think is extremely important, and something that we must get a handle on, that we must talk about, is the culture of consumerism. Not that white people don't suffer from the same malady, but let me tell you about that. Let me explain something to you. White people, I'll just be honest with you, I'm just going to be non-politically correct. White people, or white culture in America, has the generational wealth to act as a buffer against all sorts of madness. Black people in America, in urban America especially, do not have the buffer of generational wealth to buffer them against madness. Frankly, we don't have the and this is the deal. We don't have the generational wealth to buffer us against the madness of not being educated. We don't have the generational wealth buffer to protect us against the madness of consumerism or any of the other things that I'm going to mention today. We don't have the buffer. So everything, if it falls apart, always falls apart worse in urban America. Consumerism is a problem. You know what? Bill Cosby mentioned this, and of course, Bill Cosby now is persona non grata because of his troubles. But he was right that we're willing to go down and spend $150 on a pair of sneakers, of tennis shoes, or an iPhone, or $600, $700 for an iPhone, but we won't get hooked on phonics. We won't get $39.95 hooked on phonics. We won't do that. We'll spend $150 on one of those hoverboards, but what we won't spend $150 on educational material for the same age child. We won't save our money to pay for private school to make sure that our kids have the best education, because we got to have the best shirts, the best clothes, the best shoes, the best pants. We got to have the best purse. Purses especially, ladies. We got to make sure we get our hair did. And I know I went from preaching to meddling just right then. We got to make sure we get our hair did. We got to make sure that we got that weave happening. Not that cheap weave. The good stuff. You got to have that stuff sewn in. You can't have it glued on. You know, we got people have weave on layaway. $1,500 weave on layaway. But making sure that we can provide a decent educational experience for our children, well, you know, we just don't have time for that. Because it is the stuff that we judge each other by and ourselves. Again, white people have the very same problem. And I'll be honest, white folks have the very same problem, except they have the generational wealth buffer that protects them as a culture from the madness, from the craziness. Unfortunately, we, people of color, colored people, black people, urban America, do not. And I think we have to understand that. We have to understand that to a high degree and basically stop it. All these things, we have to stop it. We have to stop judging ourselves and each other by what we wear, but what kind of shoes we have on. And and people think this is new. That just has something to do with Michael Jordan and Jordan. It doesn't. I remember as a youngster being judged by what kind of tennis shoes you had on because you didn't have Converse. You didn't have the Converse All-Stars. You had some hot boxes your mother bought at the Eagle Army Navy store. That's what we used to call them, hot boxes. That you got from Kmart. There were some Cads. No. You could get away with Cads, but you couldn't get away with some hot boxes that your mother bought at Kmart or Zayre's. So this isn't new. This is part of what's become part of our culture. And we just accept it. As parents, as adults, we just accept it. As a matter of fact, we play into it. We also play into it. And we try our best as parents to do what? Provide for our children the best we can, but we also play into a level of consumerism that is destroying our culture, that is holding us back. Part of our cultural introspection should be exploring our poverty mentality. Thus our association with the Democrat Party. I played on my show that clip from Sonny Johnson, who says that Democrats want to be the party of the poor. In order to do that, they have to keep you poor. And we have bought into the whole idea that somehow, in order to be honorable, we have to be broke. And we will never, as individuals, or never, as a people, be wealthy. Because the minute we become wealthy, we have to forget where we come from. Remember that? Don't forget where you come from. Well, if you came from a rat hole, if you came from a crime-infested, drug-infested community, and that's where you came from, and you were able to, by the grace of God, escape it, it is perfectly natural to forget about that level of trauma. It is perfectly natural to forget about it and move on to the next thing. Instead of having that poverty mentality holding on to you, saying, you know what, at any moment you could be dragged back into the pit. It's what keeps us from being able to succeed. It keeps us from being able to integrate ourselves into the greater society. It holds us back. It is a poverty mentality. Now, I know when I say poverty mentality, a lot of people start thinking about, and this is for my friend Kenneth McClinton, Reverend Ike. You know, Reverend Ike was one of those first prosperity preachers. that said that, you know what, that money was okay, that having things was okay. It was all right. Nothing wrong with having stuff. The truth of the matter is that there's nothing wrong with having stuff as long as stuff doesn't have you. And how you know when stuff has you is when you're more worried about losing it than anything else. You're still suffering from that poverty mentality. Now, one of the biggest problems in our culture is groupthink. Groupthink. And that sounds just like it sounds. My friend Eddie Adams Jr., and if you want to know more about Eddie Adams Jr., you can go to Porch Talk Radio on Facebook. I'm a contributor on that program every Saturday on WTMP, 1150 here in the Tampa area. So if you're listening local, and most of my listeners are local, you can go to WTMP on Saturday afternoon at 1 o'clock and listen to Porch Talk Radio. Calls it herd butt. The herd butt mentality. It's groupthink, though. If you don't think like the group, then you're out. And have you seen that? Did you see what happened on social media when Kanye West decided that he was going to go talk to Donald Trump? Did you see what happened when Ray Lewis and Jim Brown went to go talk to Donald Trump? Now, the thing is, there's not a lot of pushback on Ray Lewis and Jim Brown, because most people know that Ray Lewis and Jim Brown don't give a damn what some snowflake warrior, Captain Cupcake and the Snowflake Warriors think of them going to see Donald Trump, because both of those people know that they're grown men and they can talk to anybody they wish to about anything they want to. And when they came out and talked about the meeting and what happened at the meeting, it was undeniable that they had acted on the best interest of themselves and their community. Now, we're going to talk about tomorrow. We're going to talk about, because everybody on the network's already talked about it, on Inauguration Day, the deal that Donald Trump has made with Urban America. We're going to hit it point by point. And I'm going to tell you why it's the best thing that's happened to Urban America in 50 years. More important than the election of Barack Obama. More important than the election of Barack Obama. Groupthink is when we're all supposed to think the same thing in the same way. And it isn't just black people who are pushing this idea of groupthink. It is white liberals who push this idea of groupthink too, that we're supposed to all think Democrat, we're all supposed to think liberal, and we're all supposed to think the same thing about the same people. We're all supposed to think that Donald Trump is a racist. Now, why? Now, we haven't personally seen any evidence that Donald Trump is a racist, but we're supposed to think that. And if we don't think that, there's something wrong with us. Now, when Steve Harvey goes and says, I'm going to try to work with the guy, boy, oh boy, did he catch hell, right? What did he say? I'm going to go. The dude's the president, and he's going to be president tomorrow, and there isn't anything anybody can do about it. It's going to happen. It's your reality. It is your reality. It is your reality. Deal with it. And it makes more sense to try to work with the guy because he's laid out the plan already. And I want to jump ahead of myself. I feel like a pastor. I don't want to jump ahead of myself. So we've got to break off this whole groupthink thing and be able to think independently and think for ourselves. Think for ourselves for the betterment of our families. Think for ourselves as the betterment of ourselves and our community. Break out of groupthink. Listen, thanks so much. I'm going to take a little break, and we'll be back with more of the Will Austin Show here on the Exceptional Conservative Network.
This is your business diva, Melanie Collette, inviting you to join me for my new show, Money Talk with Melanie, on January 16th at 10 a.m. on the Exceptional Conservative Network. Joining me will be Dr. Brooks Robinson, of blackeconomics.org. We will discuss President-elect Donald Trump's New Deal for Black America. I hope you'll join us.
Times are dark. The people are misled by corrupt politicians, lied to by establishment media, and deceived by the false messages of Islam. A nation looking for direction needs a guide. It needs a man with a cane. I'm Dave Milner. Join me on Spreaker, SHR Media, Pundit Press, Live Rebooting Liberty, and YouTube for a unique brand of commentary on the unpleasant blind guy. Because the truth is not always pleasant. From the war front to the streets of our nation's capital, men of faith, Dr. Michael Jones, the underground professor, and Kenneth McClinton, the exceptional conservative, bring both constitutional gravitas and spiritual perspective on today's issues to the most influential Christian urban talk show, 9:05 p.m. Eastern, Thursdays. It's a new day on New Day, Black and Red.
The best late-night conservative talk show in America, Sackheads Radio. And listen, there are no people better on the air to give you the best in conservative talk than Sackhead Sean and Sackhead Clint. And we're working on the immigration papers for a certain other guy who happens to work here, too. For those who are tuning in around the world to the best in late-night conservative talk, Sackheads Radio.
Sack News. Sack News.
Radio.
Sack News. Sack News.
Radio.
Sack.
The best late-night conservative talk show in America. In America.
In America.
Into the bylaw.
And in this web was a large, I'm pretty sure it was the biggest spider I've ever seen.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you think that it's time to have boots on the ground, if you think it's time to do something other than to talk about it, and you want to get involved with people who are doing something about it, go to my website, www.fightbackmedia.com. Fightbackmedia.com is not just about talking about it. We're about being about it. We're about getting into the highways and the byways, into the rib joints and the chicken shacks, to talk to people face to face about the ills that face their communities and what we can do about it. What a conservative approach, what abandoning the chains of the leftist and the Democrat Party will do to benefit urban America and their America. If you're interested in participating in a project like that that's going to turn America on its head, especially urban America first, and make America great again, go to www.fightbackmedia.com. That's www.fightbackmedia.com.
Good morning.
I'm Michael Wright.
And I'm Shannon Wright.
Okay, folks, that's not how it goes. I think I'm Shannon, and you're Michael.
Yeah.
Okay. We are The Right Way with Shannon and Mike.
Join us from 7 to 9 a.m. Eastern Time.
Live on SHR Media.
And on TECN.
Where we'll be talking about all kinds of things.
From sports and politics.
To food and entertainment.
To money.
Family.
And anything else in between.
Community, holidays, all kinds of things.
It'll be great. Join us from 7 to 9 a.m. Eastern Time.
All right. Thank you again for coming to the Will Austin Show here on the Exceptional Conservative Network. We are powered by SHR Media, and we are connected to our brand new friends at High Plains Talk Radio. Thank you so much, reaching over 1.2 million people a month. bringing them the urban conservative message in a way they've never heard it before, and blowing the doors off this whole thing. You know what? I had one more point that I wanted to get. I want to get to in our cultural introspection, and the last one is hero worship. You know what? There's a, and this is really touchy. This is why this introspection thing is hard. This is why this introspection thing is very difficult. Well, it's because we have this idea of hero worship. We have been told that we have to have a leader. Is there some leader of white America? Obviously, it's not Donald Trump, because a lot of white people are just apoplectic about the election of Donald Trump. So much, in fact, that they need cry rooms and therapy dogs, Play-Doh, coloring books, and hot cocoa. So apparently, not all white folks are happy about Donald Trump. So he's not the leader of white America. But why do we have to have a leader? Because we have this hero worship thing. You know what? And I don't want to speak ill of people, but I'm going to. Here's the deal. You know, people like Representative John Lewis. Everybody says that he's a civil rights icon. What the heck does that mean for me today? That means that he did some good work in the past. Well, good. That's great. So, like Janet Jackson said, what have you done for me lately? What has he done for his district lately? What has he done for the area that is crime-ridden and drug-infested that he is supposed to represent? What has he done for urban America around the country? What have you done for me lately, John Lewis? Except that now you're being used, and my friend Janelle Batts said it perfectly in a video that she did on Facebook yesterday, that you sold your legacy for your office, for your power and position, that you've sold your legacy. It means nothing. It's cheap. It means absolutely nothing. And we are stuck in this hero worship, regardless of what we actually see, that we're supposed to somehow think that this is the greatest thing, and anybody who opposes somebody like John Lewis, because he's a civil rights icon, is out of the club, because that's the groupthink, and that's the hero worship we have. We're looking for a leader. Because if you participate in groupthink, you need a leader. You need someone to think for you. You need someone to tell you what to be upset about, what to be happy about. And that's what's going on here. That's part of our cultural identity right now. And if we don't change, we are destined to continue along this horrific route into irrelevancy. All right, listen. I need to get to this because I am truly running out of time here. Why Trump? Trump is going to be inaugurated as our 45th president tomorrow. Tomorrow, this time, we'll be about 3 hours away from having Donald Trump as Donald J. Trump. I don't think, quite frankly, it would be as weird if he had never done The Apprentice. And especially if he had never done The Celebrity Apprentice. I think the other Apprentice show that no one remembers without the celebrities, I don't think that would have been so bad. But I think if he would have not done The Celebrity Apprentice, I don't think it would be so weird. It wouldn't be so Twilight Zone-ish. Because frankly, a lot of people, especially Captain Cupcake and the Snowflake Warriors, only know Donald Trump from Celebrity Apprentice. They really don't know him from Trump Towers. They never made that connection. They didn't make that connection until it was too late. Oh, you mean the rich guy who was on Celebrity Apprentice? No, I mean the rich guy who's been building golf courses and hotels around the frickin' world. That rich guy is running for president. Not the reality TV star. And again, mainstream media, pop culture wants to characterize Donald Trump as the reality TV star. This is why Donald Trump is president. I'm telling you that right now. Not because he's a reality TV star. That's not why he's president at all. It's because it's obvious to a lot of people about the mischaracterization of Trump. Everybody missed it. Let me tell you. I'm going to tell you right now. Everybody missed it. Everybody. All the pundits, all the university people, all the announcers, all the commentators, everybody missed it. The pollsters, everybody missed it. Donald Trump, in what seemed like to some of us, some of you, outrageous statements. The statements about threatening companies with a tariff who moved out of the country and then sold their goods back in America. Now, we understand, a lot of us conservatives understand the danger of tariffs. We understand that. So these statements were outrageous. And of course, to Captain Cupcake and the Snowflake Warriors, actually saying that Mexico was not sending their best people to the United States. They were sending their rapists and their murderers. And in less than a month later, in a sanctuary city, a woman was killed by an illegal alien that had been deported a number of times, that was back in San Francisco, which is in Northern California. It isn't like he walked from Tijuana across the border. He was in San Francisco, 1,000 plus miles north of the border, and killed a woman. Interesting. So, you know what, we found out that he was right, that a lot of people, that what he was saying, although seemed outrageous, not because it was outrageous what he was saying, it was outrageous in the way he put it, and we didn't really get, and a lot of people who bathe in this stuff really didn't get it. But you know who got it? The American electorate. The people that we leave behind sometimes, they got it. They said, you know what? We like what this guy's saying. He is actually saying what we have been thinking. He is saying that we've got to secure our southwestern border. That it is insane and ridiculous that we don't have a handle on this problem. And both sides have been talking about it for years and years and years. And all it seems to be doing is getting worse. That it's not getting better, and everybody seems afraid to even talk about it. And the American electorate saw that. And they said, you know what? If that dude is going to build a wall, it seemed in people's mind that was a great idea. Now, and the second he said build a wall, the leftist media, crooked media, dead media, legacy media, mainstream media is dead, went apoplectic, which just assured the people that I'm talking about that what Trump was saying was right. They identified with it, they agree with it, they're excited about it. They don't trust the media. They don't trust the national polling. They don't trust any of that. They're not out in the streets protesting. If they could, they'll go to a rally if they can get off work. But they support what the man said, and we all missed it. Every one of us missed it. So maybe it's time for mainstream media and pop culture to do some of that introspection we were talking about earlier. We'll be right back after these messages. You are listening to the Exceptional Conservative Network. For more information, go to www.theexceptionalconservative.com. This is a production of Fight Back Media Group. For more information, go to www.fightbackmedia.com. Move to Florida. And our friend Gary Knight at New Homes of Tampa Bay is the perfect person to help you. You can just give Gary a call at 813-770-9452, or you can go to the website to look for your brand new home at www.newhomestpa.com. Move to Florida. It's about time. Nothing fits a home perfectly than a brand new grand piano. And if you're looking for a piano for your brand new home, you've got to visit Dave's Piano. And that's davespianoshowroom.com. If you're looking for the perfect thing to set off your new home, a piano is what you're looking for. And my friend Dave has the perfect piano for you. And the best thing about buying a piano from Dave is that he does everything. He delivers, he sets up, he tunes, he takes care of everything. The best part about Dave's Piano, quite frankly, is Dave. So when you buy a piano from Dave's Piano Showroom, you only deal with Dave. You can reach them at www.davespianoshowroom.com. That's davespianoshowroom.com. It's all the rage to call and order flowers from 1-800-whatever, or go online and order them from some nameless, faceless person on the other end. I'm saying you should do something different. You should, before doing that, call my friends at Blooming Days Flower Shop, located right here in Tampa, Florida, at 11618 North Florida Avenue, 33612. Christine and her staff don't look at just the order. They look at the customer. They look at your occasion. They consider the entire person, the entire occasion, before making decisions about design and price. You're more than just a customer. You're a friend. Call our friends at Blooming Days Flower Shop, toll free, at 1-800-330-3297. 1-800-330-3297. Local, 813-971-5947. 813-971-5947. You can reach them on the web at www.bloomingdays.com. Welcome back. Welcome back to the Will Austin Show here on the Essential Conservative Network, powered by SHR Media, syndicated by our great friends at High Plains Talk Radio. We appreciate everyone down the line, and thank you for being so supportive in our technical difficulties this morning. We're going to get those worked out and get the right people in here with the right work visas to make sure that we don't have those problems again. Again, thank you, and thank you for hanging in there. These things I talked about today, I want to hear. I need to hear from you. I need you to go to our Facebook page. You can go to the Will Austin Show on the Exceptional Conservative Network. You can put that in your search bar on Facebook. You can hit me up on Twitter and follow me on Twitter at WLSTECN. You can do that. You can send me an email at WLSTECN@gmail.com. Let me know what you think. Let me know how you think it's going. We'll be back tomorrow, and we're going to hit it hard on Inauguration Day. Till we see you again, go out there and learn something, love somebody, and for goodness sakes, y'all take care of yourself. We'll see you when we see you.